In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, the notion of retribution was not unique, but humanity had refined it into an art of chilling perfection. As explorers and settlers, humans ventured among the stars with diplomacy and open hearts, embracing the desolate and the unclaimed, always with a mindful respect for the intricate balance of the galactic community. The Concordat of sentient beings, a grand coalition of interstellar civilizations, had long established a framework of harmony among the stars. Humanity, with its rich history of both conflict and cooperation, brought to the Concordat a unique perspective, one that valued peace above all else. Their initial diplomatic faux pas were quickly remedied through earnest dialogue, a rite of passage for any species joining the Concordat's ranks. Eridu, a tranquil planet with lush biomes and serene landscapes, was humanity's next venture. It had been overlooked by the Concordat but was lovingly tended to by the gentle sylphs. Through patience and sincere negotiations, humanity and the sylphs reached an accord that allowed for a shared stewardship of Eridu. Thereafter, humans chose their colonies carefully, favoring worlds that others deemed inhospitable, reminders of a resilient ancestral Earth. Through these endeavors, humanity became a beacon of tranquility, avoiding conflict and forging alliances. Their treaties, once signed, granted access to cutting-edge technology, abundant resources, and a camaraderie that transcended mere convenience. A human would forsake all to aid an ally, a trait emblematic of their species. However, the Zephyr Empire, with their doctrine of domination and martial prowess, stood in stark opposition to humanity's ethos. The Zephyrs thrived on subjugation and conquest, imposing their will through fear and military might. The Emperor of Zephyr, coveting the strategic and bounteous Eridu, sought to claim it for his empire. Humanity, in their characteristic manner, offered partnership instead of submission. This act of defiance incited a devastating assault by the Zephyr Empire, resulting in the obliteration of Eridu and the sylphs. In the aftermath, humanity withdrew, severing all communication with the Concordat and fortifying their remaining worlds. A year of silence ensued, which ended abruptly with a broadcast that resonated through every corner of the galaxy. Humanity would not let the Zephyr transgression stand without consequence. The Zephyrs, overconfident in their military supremacy, dismissed the warning as mere posturing. When the Zephyr fleet advanced upon another human world, they encountered a resistance of unforeseen magnitude. The humans, once ambassadors of peace, had unveiled a fleet of warships that dwarfed the Zephyr's armada in both number and firepower. The conflict that ensued was a testament not only to humanity's technological prowess, but also to a strategic acumen honed by millennia of terrestrial warfare. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humans systematically dismantled the Zephyr presence in a series of calculated strikes. Once advocates for peace, humans now executed their campaign with a precision and relentlessness that sent ripples of dread across the stars. As the war unfurled, historical archives unearthed by the Concordat revealed humanity's tumultuous past, a legacy of internal wars and revolutions, long suppressed and forgotten in the quest for interstellar amity. The culmination of this dark saga unfolded on the Zephyr homeworld. Instead of the expected genocide, humanity chose a different path. The surviving Zephyrs were gathered and exiled aboard decrepit vessels, cast adrift with scant provisions and the fading light of their dying star as their only companions. The Emperor, once the embodiment of Zephyr might, was left to witness the dissolution of his empire and to contemplate the fate that awaited his people. With their vengeance exacted, humans dismantled their war fleet, repurposing the technology to create havens for those displaced by the conflict and to rebuild what had been lost. They had shown the galaxy their capacity for destruction, a grim reminder that their pursuit of peace was not a sign of weakness, but a choice made with the full understanding of the alternative. Humanity's message was clear. While they sought peace, they would no longer tolerate aggression against them or their allies. The Concordat, now acutely aware of humanity's dormant prowess, approached them with a newfound respect mixed with a measure of fear. No longer would the humans be seen as mere diplomats and settlers. They had revealed themselves as architects of peace who harbored the knowledge of war, guardians of a hard-earned tranquility. As the years passed, humans resumed their role within the Concordat, but the dynamic had shifted. They continued to reach out to the stars with open hands, but now those hands bore the scars of battle, a silent testament to the cost of peace and the price of aggression. Humanity had secured its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or victims, but as equals among the stars, their legacy a complex in the vast expanse of space. The human race had long been a beacon of hope and cooperation among the stars. From the moment they stepped onto the interstellar stage, they were eager to share, learn, and become part of the greater cosmic community known as the Concordat of sentient beings. The Concordat, a grand coalition of civilizations, had set the standard for peace and harmony across galaxies, and humanity, with its diverse and tumultuous history, was more than willing to contribute to this intergalactic symphony of cultures. In their journey through the cosmos, humans settled on various planets, always choosing those unclaimed by other species to avoid conflict. It was on Eridu, a verdant world teeming with life, that they encountered the sylphs, a gentle species with a culture deeply rooted in the rhythms of their home planet. Through mutual respect and understanding, humans and sylphs forged an alliance, sharing Eridu and its resources. From then on, humanity became renowned for its ability to find common ground with various beings, valuing cooperation over conquest. As human influence grew, so did their reputation as peacemakers. Their diplomatic efforts often paved the way for new members to join the Concordat, and their mediators were sought after to resolve disputes that occasionally arose among member species. Humanity's commitment to peace was unwavering, and the alliances they formed were based on mutual respect and shared ideals. However, this idyllic chapter in human history was violently disrupted by the Zephyr Empire, a formidable force in the galaxy known for its militaristic culture and expansionist policies. The Zephyrs, under the rule of their ambitious emperor, sought to claim Eridu for its strategic location and lush resources, demanding submission and tribute from the human settlers. In an act of defiance rooted in their principles, humans offered partnership instead of surrender. The Zephyr Empire, interpreting this as an affront to their power, launched a devastating attack on Eridu. The Sylphs, unprepared for such violence, were nearly wiped out, while human settlements were reduced to rubble. The tragedy of Eridu sent shockwaves through the Concordat, and humanity was left to mourn the loss of their peaceful co-inhabitants and the destruction of their shared home. Shaken by the brutality of the assault, humanity retreated into isolation, cutting off all diplomatic ties and focusing inward. It was during this dark period that the human race, often seen as diplomats and scholars, began to tap into their ancient legacy of survival and warfare, a legacy that had been suppressed in their pursuit of a peaceful coexistence among the stars. A year of silence passed before humanity re-emerged, not with words of peace, but with a declaration of retribution. The Zephyrs, overconfident in their prowess, scoffed at the warning, unable to fathom that a species so dedicated to harmony could pose a credible threat. The subsequent confrontation was a revelation to the entire Concordat. The human ships that met the Zephyr fleet were unlike any that had been seen before, sleek, powerful and bristling with advanced weaponry. The ensuing battle was swift and merciless, a display of human ingenuity and strategic might that had been honed throughout their history on Earth. The humans' campaign against the Zephyr Empire was as precise as it was ruthless. With each encounter, they demonstrated an unfathomable capacity for warfare, systematically dismantling the Zephyr forces with tactics that seemed to anticipate the Empire's every move. It became apparent that humanity's long-standing dedication to peace had masked a formidable martial prowess. The galaxy watched in awe and horror as the humans exacted their vengeance. The records of ancient human conflicts, once thought to be mere history, were now seen in a new light. The Zephyrs had awakened a dormant warrior spirit within humanity, and the price was the decimation of their empire. In the aftermath, humanity did not occupy the Zephyr worlds or claim their resources. Instead, they exiled the remnants of the Zephyr Empire, leaving them to wander the stars. The Emperor of Zephyr, stripped of his power, was forced to bear witness to the consequences of his hubris. With their retribution complete, humans dismantled their war fleet, choosing to repurpose their technology for the restoration of the worlds affected by the conflict. They had made their point. Their commitment to peace was a choice, and when necessary, they were capable of devastating aggression to defend that peace. As humanity reassimilated into the Concordat, their role was forever altered. They were still diplomats and scholars, but now they were also guardians, protectors of the peace they held so dearly. The lesson was clear. To threaten humanity or its allies was to invite a storm of retribution, but to join hands with them was to partake in the enduring quest for a harmonious and prosperous existence across the stars.